Imagine walking into a coffee shop, expecting nothing more than your usual morning drink, and walking out with a story that could change the way you see people forever. That's exactly what happened in this story, one that starts with a barista who thought she was just doing her job, but ended up unknowingly impressing one of the most powerful men on the planet. And trust me, by the end, you'll realize why kindness and humility always pay off in ways you never expect. Before we dive in, if you love inspiring real-life stories like this, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, because stories like these are worth being reminded of every single day. The coffee shop was small, the kind where the smell of fresh beans clung to the wooden walls and the sound of milk frothing drowned out the morning rush. Behind the counter stood Amara, a young barista who had been working there for 3 years. She was known among regulars not just for her lattes but for the warmth in her smile. Her life wasn't easy, juggling night classes, rent, and a family back home who depended on her, but she never let it show. For her, the coffee counter wasn't just a job, it was a stage where every customer deserved a moment of care and respect. That morning, the shop buzzed with the usual chaos. Business people rushing in, students buried in laptops, tourists pointing at the menu confusedly. But then came a man, tall, impeccably dressed in a suit so subtle and sharp you knew it was expensive without needing to check the tag. He walked in quietly, without the usual air of someone wanting to be noticed. His eyes scanned the board, but his hesitation revealed something deeper. He didn't seem to understand the menu at all. He stepped up to the counter, looking slightly lost. Cappuccino, he said in broken English, thick with an accent that wasn't easy to place. Amara instantly recognized the struggle. She smiled warmly and switched to Spanish, asking him if he preferred hot or iced. His eyes widened in surprise, and he nodded gratefully. The tension in his shoulders eased. But just as she started preparing his drink, another customer behind him interjected in French, asking if the man needed help. Without missing a beat, Amara responded in fluent French, reassuring both of them that everything was fine. The man's lips curved into a faint smile. He was impressed, but said nothing. A few moments later, the card machine glitched, refusing to process his payment. The man frowned, clearly embarrassed, searching through his pockets. Another customer muttered impatiently. Amara leaned forward, still calm, and asked him softly in Italian if he preferred to pay with another method. His eyes lit up again. Italian? She spoke Italian too? He nodded and pulled out some cash, relief washing over his face. But the story didn't end there. While preparing his cappuccino, Amara overheard him struggling on the phone in Mandarin, trying to explain directions to someone who clearly wasn't understanding. She casually stepped in, gently translating for him in flawless Mandarin, guiding the driver to the coffee shop. The man froze, staring at her as if she were some kind of miracle worker. By now, the shop was buzzing with curiosity. Customers exchanged glances. Was this barista actually speaking all these languages? Amara didn't notice. For her, it wasn't about showing off, it was about making sure her guest felt comfortable. Finally, when she handed him the cappuccino, she wished him a good day in German, because she had caught a small word he had muttered under his breath earlier. 6 languages, all in the span of 10 minutes. The man sat down quietly, sipping his coffee. He kept looking at Amara, studying her not with suspicion but with admiration. Most people in his world bent over backward to impress him, yet here was a young woman, working long shifts at a tiny café, helping a stranger without knowing or caring who he was. What Amara didn't know was that the man was Adrian Keller, the global CEO of one of the largest tech companies in the world, a billionaire who could change lives with a single phone call. He had been traveling incognito, tired of being recognized for his wealth and power. And here, in a little corner cafe, he had found something more valuable than all his boardrooms combined: genuine kindness. When he finished his cappuccino, he walked back to the counter. "Thank you," he said simply, this time in clear English. Amara smiled, brushing it off like she always did. "Of course. That's what we're here for. But Adrian didn't leave it at that. He pulled out a small card from his wallet, sliding it across the counter. If you ever need opportunities, call this number. He said it quietly, almost casually, before disappearing out the door. Amara looked at the card. It had nothing but a name and a sleek embossed logo. She had no idea who he was until later that night when her coworker recognized the name and nearly dropped his phone in shock. "Do you know who this man is?" he exclaimed, shoving a news article in her face. And in that moment, Amara realized that the man whose coffee she had made so lovingly was one of the richest, most influential people in the world. She didn't know if she should laugh or cry. All she had done was what she always did, help people in the best way she knew how. Yet that simple act of kindness had reached the heart of someone who could have everything but still craved something real. Weeks later, Amara received an email. It was an offer, an opportunity to work as a cultural liaison for Adrian's Global Foundation, using her gift for languages to bridge communities worldwide. She read the message again and again, tears streaming down her face.